Plaintiff, Betty Hines, has known the defendant for 15 years, and she paid her to do her son's and husband's taxes. However, she claims the defendant failed to complete the taxes, so she's suing for a refund. Defendant Alexa Powell says she and Betty had a falling out after Betty accidentally sent her a text that was intended for her husband, bad-mouthing Alexa. She's countersuing for harassment.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you. Give me some background here.
I've been knowing Alexa for over 15 years. I met her through a coworker. Alexa does taxes. So my coworker told me at the time, she said, Alexa's good at what she do, but the thing is, Alexa's very slow. So she takes her time by doing it. No problem. In 2015, I contacted my coworker because she worked with Alexa, and I scheduled an appointment with Alexa for 9 a.m. I had to be at work at 2 o'clock, Your Honor, so I got there at 9 a.m. prompt on time. Alexa was not there. I texted Alexa and told her I was there and was she on her way. She texted back and she said, I'll be there in a minute. Now we're at 10 o'clock, Your Honor, still no Alexa. So I text my husband, thinking I'm texting my husband, and I'm telling him.
Text your boyfriend.
No, Your Honor.
I
was texting my husband, and I was telling him that I said, Alexa is not here. I said, this big fat.
Come on now.
Your Honor, I was upset. I was upset because I had to be at work at 2. I was upset. I realized I was in the wrong, but I was upset.
Yeah, that is horrible.
I know, Your Honor, and I apologize. When Alexa showed up, you know,
she said, I apologize for what I said to my husband, about what I called you to my husband. You had to bring attention to it. Just pray for forgiveness. You don't bring it up. Yeah, by the way, I just want to apologize to you because in private with my husband, I called you such and such.
Oh, no, Your Honor. She's forgetting the best part. She actually texted to me, not her husband.
That's why I was getting ready to tell you, Your Honor. You didn't let me finish. I was telling you, I thought I was texting it to her, my husband, but she got the text message. So she called me, and she was like, hey, Betty. I said, hey, Lex. She said, I'm feeling some type of way.
Hold on, let me stop you. After that,
I sat there.
You assaulted this woman trying to hit her in what you perceive a flaw. Like if somebody hit me with my flaws, I'm a terrible person, because I'm going to try to get you back. That's just me. I'm a petty, terrible, revengeful person. Lord, forgive me. I'm flawed in that area. I'm going to try to get you back. So you're going to hit somebody below the belt and then say, oh, you can do my taxes. I would have done your taxes so much the IRS would be knocking on your door with the FBI in tow. Without have finished submitting your taxes, you'd have been criminal tax evasion. Go ahead, but what did happen? Okay. So you told her, I'm sorry, and you...
Right, she showed me, she gave me the phone to, you know, I told her, I don't need to look at the message. I know what I sent. So... I apologize. I did, because I told her.
I don't mean to be funny. Please forgive me if it offends you. I don't think it will.
No.
But are you over 50?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, over 50 people, I'm told we should stop texting.
You're absolutely right.
I have made a couple of damaging mistakes.
I agree, Your Honor. I agree. I learned.
I may have lost a friendship like that. But I don't think I went as low as you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So she did. It was my son's tax. So she did his taxes. So me being the person I am, thinking that everything was fine under the bridge. So my coworker, I called. I said, "Yeah, could you schedule me an appointment with Lexa to do my taxes?" She said, "Lexa said no. She's not doing your taxes. And you lucky she didn't kick your you know what." You know, you sitting there like you bold, you know, sitting there waiting on her to do your taxes.
You see, I don't kick people behind no more. I just set them up. So I would set you up.
That's a shame, Judge Mathis. I had good intention. Like I said, I apologize.
Let me hear from you. Then we'll get to how you...
I've been doing taxes for over 20 years, okay? I did meet Betty some years ago. As she told you, we had a major flaw, and I chose not to do her taxes anymore. In 2009, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, okay? And if you know, it's very debilitating, very painful situation. But I wanted to make the best of my situation. I went back to school. I got a master's degree. I went on to purchase my home, cash money. You know, I have a scholarship fund that I use my business to fund, where I help underprivileged children to go back to school, to figure out what colleges to go to, because a lot of times in our communities we get excited about going to school, but we don't know where to go, and we wind up going to schools that we can't afford and we can't finish our educations. So I also help young people to figure out what schools to go to, fill out their financial aid, and also help them with their deposits for books and rooming and board and all of that kind of thing. Okay, so
Somebody hit me with my flaws. I'm a terrible person, but I'm gonna try to get you back. That's just me. I'm a petty, terrible, revengeful person. Lord, forgive me. I'm flawed in that area. I'm gonna try to get you back. I would have done your taxes so much the IRS would be knocking on your door with the FBI in tow.
Defendant Alexa Powell has known the plaintiff for 15 years, but she claims they had a falling out after the plaintiff sent her a text that was intended for her husband, bad-mouthing Alexa.
Man, let me hear from you.
okay. She said we had that fallout. So that just started the track record of kind of sneaky behavior, you know, which we continued on. However, I did not choose to do business with Betty directly, but her family, I didn't cut them off because
Alexa,
of
that's
it.
not true.
Okay.
That is not true, Alexa.
So, as I stated, I did business with her other family members and such.
You did business with me as well.
There is some messages from family members stating from this year just how satisfied they were with my services.
So you saying you did fine by her family, but you had to get her behind back.
No, I didn't get her at all.
Honor,
This is actually
yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Actually,
Your Honor.
this is no.
Yes, she
Actually,
did.
this isn't even her taxes. This is her husband and her son's taxes
But
that she's
suing
speaking
her?
on. Yes.
Ma'am, is that true?
That's true, Your Honor. But
You don't have any standing to sue for them?
Your Honor,
Yeah, I'll listen.
Your Honor, I paid for these taxes. That's the issue. This was my money that I paid for my son and my husband's taxes. And Alexa's not
Paid it
telling.
directly to her?
Yes, Your Honor, I have the
Okay.
messages catch up. But Your Honor, she's not telling the truth. Alexa did deal with me. Alexa and I became friends again. So last year, Alexa had been doing this tax. So last year, Alexa asked for the money in advance. That's how she do her tax. She had to pay in advance. I sent Alexa $400 for my son and my husband's taxes. She told me she was going to do the tax, Your Honor. I texted her back in February the 16th, asked her how she did it. She responded back in the text message. She said, yes, ma'am, I did the taxes. So, Your Honor, again, when March rolled around, I text her again. It was her birthday. I wish her a happy birthday, did everything for her. Again, did you do the taxes, Alexa? Yes, I did. Alexa, the last of March, I just had to call her the 31st. I called Alexa, and she answered the phone. She told me she was in Vegas. So I said, Alexa.
In Vegas?
She went to Vegas, Your
With
Honor.
your refund?
With my money.
With your
at
refund?
the slot machine, yes.
Go ahead. That's not true. Go
So
ahead.
I
asked
true
her-
at all because
No,
I
I know
asked
that.
her about the taxes. I said, okay, Alexa, since you didn't do my tax and you are in Vegas, I'm going through somebody else. So
Is
now
that accurate?
we're in April, Your
is
Honor.
that
Let her
accurate?
finish and I'll let you.
We're in April. So I called Alexa when she got back, and I told her, I explained to her, I went with somebody else because I've been waiting over 3 months for the taxes to get done. Alexa told me that she would make a partial payment because she didn't have all the money at one time. I said, Alexa, you shouldn't have spent the money because it wasn't yours to spend. She said, you don't tell me how to spend my money. I said, if you didn't perform the service, it's not your money. It still belongs to me.
Where did we get the part that she didn't perform her service
She didn't
at
do the-
all?
she didn't do the
never
tax.
delivered tax?
No, Your Honor, she never did.
As we speak?
As we speak, no, Your
That's
Honor.
not
Hold on,
accurate.
ma'am. Let me hear from you.
Okay. So couple of things. First off, Betty did give me the information in February. It should be stated that my services have always been paid in advance for the 20 years I've been doing taxes. I have never gotten paid on the back end. That should be stated. So this isn't anything brand new.
All right, so tell me the process that you usually go through.
Okay, so normally what happens is they call to book an appointment with the receptionist. They come in the day of their appointment. They fill out an intake form, which states how they're going to file, who they're claiming, no refunds allowed at all. If you have any problem with being patient, this is not the place for you, okay? You need to go somewhere else that can meet your needs, okay? So, and then they pay for their taxes up front. Everybody pays a flat fee.
And they give you their paperwork at that moment?
Exactly. And normally
Hold on, ma'am. They give you all the receipts and all the tax information, the banking statements that you need.
Yes.
At the same time that the $400 is exchanged.
Yes.
And you received all the information from her?
No.
Okay, what did you receive from her?
Okay, due to Corona, we haven't been able to have in-person taxes, so we had to do it another route, which means...
Say, what did you receive from her? Remember you just said you always get the $400.
Yes.
And here's your paperwork.
Yes.
Otherwise, I don't accept your paperwork.
Correct.
For your taxes unless you give me $400.
Yes.
So that's why I'm asking what happened in this case.
Okay, so Betty provided me with W-2s, and she provided me with a health insurance form. That's it.
And $400.
And $400.
She did?
She did.
Okay.
However, Betty omitted some documents that were necessary in order to file a tax.
Okay, and you didn't know that until later.
I did not know that until later.
All right.
So if you care to see in the voice of the text messages, Betty contacts me in March and says, "Hey Alexa, I have another W-2 for the house." Okay, which she's speaking of the tax papers for the house. Okay, which
this is to amend what you already are in the process of doing.
Exactly.
All right, where do you have that at?
So,
what part of your evidence?
Your Honor,
we can go to
page. We got documents.
Yes, Your Honor.
What page do you have?
I believe it is page 9.
Page 9 is some communication saying that I need more. Or she's saying I got more documents for you. Hey, Lex, thank you so much for responding. I got the W-2 for the property taxes if you need it. This is as of...
February the 16th.
No, that's March 4th.
It doesn't say March 4th, ma'am. Show me where it says that.
So my coworker, I called, I said, yeah, could you schedule me an appointment with Lexa to do my taxes? She said, Alexa said, no, she's not doing your taxes. And you lucky she didn't kick your you-know-what. You know, you sitting there like you bold, you know, sitting there waiting on her to do your taxes.
You see, I don't kick people behind no more. I just set them up. So I would set you up.
That's a shame, Judge Mathis.
Defendant Alexa Powell has known the plaintiff for 15 years, but she claims they had a falling out after the plaintiff sent her a text that was intended for her husband, bad-mouthing Alexa.
Page 8 communication says February 8th.
Right.
And then it jumps to a communication that you just mentioned that it does not list the date.
Well, I provided the entire
Everything else
21,
has a date but that.
And it does jump from those 2 dates.
So I don't know when it happened, man.
So
I don't know.
Okay, so even when we continue forward to, let's just go where she gave it all to me.
Yeah, she told you to give it to her.
Okay, she provided it after the fact. And then we continue on through till March. What should also be noted, which is not, I don't know if it's here or not, but the year before, Betty also gave me the information in February, and she got them in April. What she told me when she sent them in February was, hey, Lex, it's not an urgency. Do it when you can. Don't worry about it.
Okay, Your Honor, on page 4, it talks about the property tax. What I told her, I was sending her the property tax. And I asked her, did you do Joe taxes?
All right, what date is this, ma'am?
This is February, Your Honor, February the 16th, I'm sorry.
Where does that say that?
Well, page 5 and page 6, Your Honor.
Hey, Lex, just checking to see if you did Joe and Eric's taxes. Send them to my email, March 4th. What should I? Yes, I have done Joe's. Please send the property taxes paperwork over. So, Did you do that?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
All right, ma'am, go ahead. What else do you want to tell me about finishing the job?
Okay.
What was the final communication regarding finishing the job?
Excellent. So I actually completed the taxes and they were rejected due to the AGI that was on the return.
What's AGI?
That's the adjusted gross income. That's how electronic signature
Your Honor,
is done from one.
Finish, ma'am.
When you submit a tax return, you have to either do an electronic signature or an electronic opinion.
And you communicated this with her?
Yes.
All right. And what did she say? Hold on. And what did she say?
Okay, she said, "Oh, Alexa, do we have anything on the overpayment for the taxes?"
No, that doesn't address what I just asked you about.
The reason that we need that, she gave me documents and
No, I need something. Well, you told her they rejected it because of ABC, and she gave you a response to ABC.
Your Honor, here is the letter that the IRS sent to Eric about the adjusted gross income.
Never saw that, Your Honor.
It said we are rejecting it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, you read it. You read it. You read it.
Hold on, I'm trying to make it bigger.
Yeah.
Because it
can't
isn't.
read it. You just gonna hand something to me that you can't read.
No, well, okay. This is the tax bill that they sent.
Ma'am, read the letter where they said they're rejecting it. Read it to me, please. You've been totally unprepared for this case and totally misinformed. Your claim is dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
Thank you. Alexa, I can't believe you sitting there telling that lie like that. You know you never told me anything about the taxes were rejected. You know you lying.
Betty,
and we bigger and better than that. We bigger and better than that. We bigger and better than that, Alexa. But you sat there and told that bald face lie.
How did you call the IRS on somebody else's taxes?
I'm through talking to you.
How did you call the IRS on somebody else's taxes?
You lied. You took $400 away.
How did you call the IRS on somebody else's taxes? Would you like to answer that?
Plaintiffs Mason Howard and his girlfriend Katrina Knowlton say Katrina grew up in an abusive household and ended up in foster care. But she got a full ride to college and saved enough money to rent her own place. However, she's suing her former landlord for breach of contract and emotional distress. Defendant Melissa Jacobs says she reluctantly agreed to rent to Mason and Katrina, despite the fact that they were in the process of being evicted and were involved in several other lawsuits. She's countersuing for damages.
Start what you want.
I have been in a rough situation for the past couple of years. I am 21 now. I had grown up in a rough, abusive household and went into foster care, running away, in and out, back and forth. So I got a job and distracted my home life with school and work. Started working at 15 and saved every dime I could so I could move out on my own. I received a full ride to a private college that was like a half hour north of where I was living and graduated with a 3.9 GPA. So, I mean, I was ready to go and get my life rolling. And I had saved up a bunch of money, and on March 9th, I found a listing on Facebook Marketplace.
Well, first give me some more insight on yourself.
I am 21 now. I had grown up in a rough, abusive household and went into foster care, running away, in and out, back and forth. So I got a job and distracted my home life with school and work. I received a full ride to a private college and graduated with a 3.9 GPA. So, I mean, I was ready to go and get my life rolling.
Defendant Melissa Jacobs rented an apartment to the plaintiffs, but they claim on the day they were to move in, there were no floors and the toilet didn't work, so they're suing.
What ages were you in foster care?
I ran away at 14, and it was a family friend who took me in, and I got to stay with her for a couple of years.
Yeah, but the foster care years, what years? Those were the only two with your friend?
It was like 14 to 17, and then I was saving up money and moved out.
Okay. So you weren't in foster care, you were living with your friend?
Yeah, I was living with a family friend. She took some fostering classes and was able to like legally have custody of me.
Got it. All right, good. Were they very helpful to you in your life?
Absolutely. Nobody is really in my life at this point. I'm just working away, trying to save some money to.
Yeah, they're in your life, I hope. The foster care friend are still in your life, aren't they?
No.
What happened? What happened?
They moved away. And so I wasn't able to keep contact with them, and they didn't keep contact with me. So it's just been me on my own with my boyfriend.
What did you major in college, and what have you done since?
Well, I went to college for 3 months. I had a full ride there and was going for math education. I was taking college classes in high school, so I was able to get ready. And part of being a teacher is going through extra classes where I would have to drive away from my college another 45 minutes south to be able to do that. And it was too much commuting. I also worked 40 hours a week and had to pay for a place to live. And I couldn't juggle all of that on my own because I didn't have any family support or anything, not even from the foster family. And so I had to withdraw and continue working.
Okay. All right. I don't want folks to get the impression, however, that you can't pull it all off. Many, many people can, and many, many people do.
It's possible. I just wasn't ready enough at 18.
All right, there you go. You may not been committed enough, because I got to tell you, my mother died. I was still a teenager, never had a father, and relied totally 100% on financial aid and loans, and worked very little because financial aid and loans. And I believed in myself enough, however, that I would finish and be able to afford repayment of the loans. And that's usually the question that young people have to ask themselves, because there's this, I don't get no loan, and I don't have no money, and I don't have parents, my parents can't afford it, and the only way I can go is to get a loan, and I ain't loading up no loans. Why? The purpose of a loan is for you to take the money, use it on your education, graduate, get a job, and you'll be able to pay the loans back. That's the whole reasoning behind federal grants and loans. Now, if you don't think you're gonna finish, young people, yeah, I wouldn't either. Don't take the loan. If you don't have enough confidence in yourself to believe that you can finish, I agree, don't. Do something else. Go to a community college, or go to a 6-month program or a 9-month program, or welding is very much in demand. Truck driving is very much in demand, and electricians and construction workers and skilled tradesmen. So I was just trying, ma'am, to teach another lesson. Bet on yourself. That's what it boils down. Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. You gotta know that you're gonna be able to repay any loan. Just like buying a car. Don't buy that car if you don't think that you're gonna have a stable job for those next 3 to 5 years. Same thing, same concept. But I'm glad to hear that you overcame such a major challenge in your life. That's the example I really want people to see, is that you don't give up on yourself. Then bet on yourself. Don't give up like you didn't. You didn't give up. You overcame it. Now you're betting on yourself, and I want you to continue to bet on yourself. How old are you?
21.
You got a lot of betting to do. You got a lot of betting you can do. All right? And betting on yourself, once again, means take everything you must do to get to the level you want to be at, knowing that once you get to that level, you're going to be straight. You believe you're going to get to that level? You believe you're going to get to a level where you're going to be all right? Whatever sacrifice you might have to make right now? You believe in yourself?
Yes.
Huh?
3,000%.
There you go then. There you go. There you go. Well, quit that job, get those $15,000 a year loans for 4 years. That's $60,000 you'll owe when you get your bachelor's degree. At $60,000 debt, you'll probably have to pay $500 a month, $6,000 a year. You see? And so it might take you 10 years to pay it off. So If you didn't get that loan and didn't get a professional job or a skilled trades job, you'll be at the minimum wage, jumping from little job to little job. Thank you for sharing that with us, and we're proud of you.
Defendant Melissa Jacobs rented an apartment to the plaintiffs, but they claim on the day they were to move in, there were no floors and the toilet didn't work, so they're suing.
What did you do? What about him? What'd you do?
I'm unemployed, sir. I have a back injury. I'm not really able to work often.
Okay. What happened to your back?
I think just years of bad posture just messed it up. I think I have a slip disc in it. I haven't really had it looked at yet.
So you don't get Social Security or any benefits for a bad back?
No, I don't.
Only benefits you get for your bad back is her working and you playing the video. Because you can't walk much. You can't sit on that couch. Get him! Don't you talk to another person now, don't you?
Got you.
Man of war or something when he
Yeah, you got the headphones on.
You avoid and you talking to strangers all across. I'm gonna get you in. Don't they be cursing? I think I heard. I will get you. That'll mess your arm up. I don't know about your back. Your arm cool?
I actually don't really play video games either.
Oh, my fault. All right. Well, what you do with your time? If you ain't working, what you watch cartoons? What do you do? You can't
I
work.
play music. I play guitar.
Okay. I got a back problem too. I've had 2 surgeries, and I can sing. And my wife still pushed me on that plane. Remember, you can sing when you get off work. I gotta have fun with you, sir. Don't come on here if you don't think, if you don't want to if you don't know that you might be a target for fun. So, push him out with that bad back, like my wife pushes me out with my bad back. Push me out to work. Have him play that guitar when he get home. I know you're doing your best, sir. Congratulations. Seems like you all have a good relationship. That's the most important. You all have a good relationship?
Absolutely.
All right, good. That's most important. You ain't never got to work long as it's all right with her. All right, ma'am. Let's hear from you. You give me some background.
Yes, sir. My name is Melissa
Are you
Jacobs.
available later to talk with my wife? Let my wife know that she shouldn't be pushing me out here. I should be able to stay home and sing. I'm sorry, sir. Please forgive me. I hope I'm not offending you. Everybody knows I'm kidding with you, so I'm not embarrassing you. We know nothing about you, so all this junk I'm talking is just that. I'm talking junk. What we do know is you have a stable relationship with your woman. That's a foundation that you all should use to build a nice family together. Ma'am, you give me some background.
Yes, sir. I have rental properties. I was approached by them. They were looking for something, and Katrina had asked me some questions, and I told her that she could probably come into my salon, fill out an application, and then I would be willing to show them what I had. She filled out the application, and then she mentioned that he was in the picture, and I said, well, he's going to have to fill out one too. So then I did the background checks, and they were not good.
What's wrong with them? What do you mean not good?
Well, they were in the process of being evicted, which is why she was in such a hurry to rent from me. And then he has a small claims case from Preferred Auto, and then he has another one from Preferred Auto. And then they've been sued by Open Door. There's a small claims, or there's a collection agency that's looking for them. And then he has he was
not looking for them. How you know they can't find them?
Because I called Open Door to find out what was going on with them, and she told me that they turned the judgment over to a collection agency, and then she had the collection agency call me since I didn't mind. And they said that they hadn't been able to find them. And I gave them the information that I had.
Defendant Melissa Jacobs rented an apartment to the plaintiffs, but they claim on the day they were to move in, there were no floors and the toilet didn't work, so they're suing.
So why did you lease to them if you know they had such delinquencies on their credit?
Because the same story that she just gave you, she gave me. And I thought if a person's willing to try that hard,
That ain't right.
give them a second chance.
It's not a story, the same truth that she gave me.
Yes,
the same
sir, the same thing
background,
that
the
she said to
same
you.
background that she gave me.
Yes, sir. The same thing that she said to you, she said to me. And I thought everybody deserves a second chance. You can be evicted once. You can go to jail and be arrested a few times. But that was my mistake.
You did right. You got to take your chances. Every now and then you get burnt. Some
Yes, sir.
people who take in bad boys and try and convert their lives and try and transform them, they get burnt. People who took me in, my in-laws, my cousin Addison Hines, the others, it paid off. So you keep doing that, all right? I don't want you to stop giving folks like this young lady a second chance. She overcame tremendous obstacles. All right, so how long have you been a landlord?
I've had rental property since 2010.
Okay. How many? You say properties. How many you have?
I have 14 units altogether.
Okay. All right. So, young lady, she says she was giving you a second chance and trying to support the success you'd already experienced overcoming your obstacles. I guess that's the best way I would put it. And she said you let her down. Tell me what happened.
The thing about Open Door, I actually have dismissal forms from our county's clerk judge for a wrongful eviction and damages charge. The entire thing was dropped. There's no withstanding debt whatsoever. I had been living with a family friend for over a year, so we didn't get evicted in the first place. So we ended up moving out and moving in with a family friend for over a year while this entire thing was taking place, and we had just received the dismissal forms and showed it to Melissa before we even signed the lease.
Okay. So why are you suing her today? What happened here? How did she breach the contract?
Well, on March 9th was when I first ever got a hold of her. She is owner of a tanning salon that's in our town as well. So I was unable to reach her through Facebook, reached out multiple times. And so I finally called the salon to see if it was available, and it was. So I asked if I could go talk with her in person, and so we did. And then she said that we went over all of the things that were supposed to be done for the apartment. She said that there were things that needed patched up, things that needed put down, some carpet needed put down. 2 of the rooms, it was a 2-bedroom, 2 of them were supposed to be carpeted. And then the kitchen and bathroom was supposed to be hardwood linoleum. And we had kept in contact back and forth, asking about updates, what's going on, and we had kept in touch. And I'm not sure if you have your evidence packet. I have mine. It says on page 4. I have text messages between her, and on the 19th, which was 3 days before moving in, I asked if there were any updates, and her response was 2 rooms were being carpeted. So on the 20th, I was able to meet with Melissa and sign the lease for move-in on the 22nd, which was 2 days after, on a Monday. So we didn't do anything. She handed me the keys, and then on Monday it was time to move in. We went at about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I took all of the pictures that you can see. The toilet was not attached and leaking. There was standing water in front of the bathroom sink. The flooring was not done at all. The bathroom flooring was done, but there was no actual.
You didn't move in though, right?
No, sir. We were about.
Did she give you your money back that you put down?
No, sir.
That's what you're suing for today?
I paid for the deposit, a pet deposit, the move-in cost, and I paid extra money ahead of time.
Okay, and she hasn't returned any of it?
Right.
And she hasn't returned any of it?
No, Your Honor.
Defendant Melissa Jacobs rented an apartment to the plaintiffs, but they claim on the day they were to move in, there were no floors and the toilet didn't work, so they're suing.
Tell me what happened. She says that they put all this money down that was requested of them by virtue of the lease, and that you did not deliver the property in the time frame in which you agreed or adhere to the lease. And as such, they want a refund. And so the question is, why won't you give it to them?
Because everything was ready to go. The toilet was installed. There was a problem where we were waiting for the flooring, so we needed a nut to be connected in the back of it to attach it. There was no standing water because I had been in there not 2 hours earlier and I had cleaned everything from top to bottom. The only thing that was left when they moved in early was there was about a 6 foot by 6 foot section of linoleum that was going down on the floor. I had said that I would put carpet in the text messages, but then she asked me what I would do if she had a cat. And I said, I'm not inclined to put brand new carpet under a cat. And that's why I put in the laminate flooring instead. I even printed off where she could get a area rug from Home Depot for $35. And I said, you can put a couple of those. They were good size rugs, like 10 by 14. $30 from Home Depot, put those down on the floor because I'm not inclined to put carpet under a cat.
Any other reasons your place wasn't prepared for them to move into? You say carpet. Any other issues?
The commode was connected and ready. The water was running because I've been using it.
So there was nothing else wrong with it, you say?
No, sir.
Okay.
I was waiting to put the screen door on the downstairs because I figured
you say you already did it. There was nothing wrong, you said.
Yes, there was nothing wrong.
But you just said I was ready to put the screen in. I'm confused.
No, sir.
You can't be ready and then still have more work to do.
I was going to hang the screen door after they moved their things in. They would be less likely to tear up the screen door.
It wasn't ready then, ma'am. So far, it wasn't ready with a screen. You can roll your eyes. You can roll anything else you want to roll. I saw you rolling them, but it wasn't ready. What else wasn't ready? She's admitted that the screen wasn't. What else wasn't?
Yes, sir. The tub, I don't know if you have the same picture as we do. On
Which
page
one?
14,
Which page? 14?
There is what I'm guessing is supposed to be a backsplash behind the tub.
That's horrible.
In the bathroom, and it's just all wood. I mean, it's all rotted wood.
It looks horrible. What other pictures do you have? Oh, my goodness. This is horrible.
We were told that someone who was previously living in that apartment had put some backsplash up behind the tub that didn't work out.
And as she said, she told you do not use. She blocked the sink altogether. So don't wash your hands in the middle of a deadly virus.
Can't go to the bathroom either.
Your counterclaim? Go ahead, ma'am. $331 for damages. How do they owe you?
Because somebody managed to put a bunch of foam down the tub faucet. And sir, all of those pictures that you see were pictures that were taken before the place was ready. By the time they came in, all of those things had been pulled away.
Okay, let me see your pictures that show that. Let me see your pictures that show that.
I did not.
I know you didn't. I know you didn't. Wow. I know you didn't. Until you can overcome the presumption of what they've shown me, you owe. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff, $2,000. I'm going to dismiss your claim for damages. Bye-bye.
I'm so glad you're never going to be my problem. You've already been evicted 3 times. Good luck with it.
Thanks for sharing.
I can't wait till they catch up to you. Now that you have money, you can pay your claim against them. I'll get open door right on you.
Be quiet, you lost.
Go pay off some of your parole stuff. Maybe take your meth teeth with you.